Uh, our meeting is not called to order. Do we have anyone that would like to do an invocation? If not, I will do it. God of our creation, we come before you today to give you honor and praise. You are worthy of praise. You are the source of all that is good. You are the source of all of our blessing. Thank you for every gift that we have been given. We thank you for the opportunity to come and gather tonight, this day, to do NAACP business. We ask your blessing on this meeting tonight. Amen. Our vice president is not on yet, and we always invite her to greet the people. So we welcome everyone that's on this meeting tonight, and we're glad to have you. And we hope this is not your last time, that you will come back on next month and visit us again on our public meeting. We're glad to have you here tonight. Tonight, our meeting hosted, is sponsored by the Civic Engagement Committee, where Ann Sullivan is the chairperson and Christine Dinsmore is the co-chair, and our healthcare committee. Sarah Underhill is the chair, and Harriet is the under-chair. So we thank them for coming together and putting this program together for us tonight. And everyone knows that our topic is the fair pay for home care bill. And I say, what is it? Why do we need it? A call to action. So at this time, we're gonna present Christine Dinsmore to come and introduce our speaker for tonight.
Thank you. Thank you, Maud. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's NAACP presentation on home care. The home care shortage is quickly becoming a home care crisis.
Yes.
Home care is a health-related issue because we have dedicated workers who provide the care to keep elders and people with disabilities in their home. But it's also a social justice issue that requires civic engagement. Thus, this is presented tonight by both the health part and our civic engagement. The majority of caregivers are women and people of color, and many home care workers are living in public assistance. We will learn tonight what's driving this crisis from our presenter. I am thrilled to introduce Gemma Kalinda, the Hudson Valley organizer for Caring Majority, which is a movement of seniors, people with disabilities, family caregivers, domestic and home care workers. In her role, Gemma has convened home care worker roundtables. She's emceed a huge rally at the governor's mansion for fair pay for home care. And she's the lead organizer for getting the fair pay for home care, that's a mouthful, huh? Fair pay for home care bill passed during this legislative session. A graduate of Howard University and Kaplan University, Gemma is a fierce advocate for home care workers and the people they serve. So therefore, I would like to turn this over now to Gemma Kalinda. Thank you, Gemma. It's on you.
To have you.
There we are. I was saying, oh my goodness, thank you for that introduction. That was way too much. So there's something on my screen here. Let me just go over here and get this off. So my name is Gemma, and I am the Hudson Valley organizer for the New York Caring Majority. And I got involved with this simply because I worked at a location, and I was looking, get this clear, I'm sorry. And I was looking for home care. And I happened to be speaking to someone, and I said to him, you know, something about home care. And he said, oh, talk to someone, and he gave me the number, and I gave her a call, and it was, the rest is history, honestly. Christine's right. I've done several speaking engagements. I just literally got back from Albany 15 minutes ago where we were doing a rally with 1199 for fair pay for home care. So let me tell you a little bit about myself before I go into other things. I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis when I was 16 years old, but actually had it when I was 13, but just didn't know really what was going on. I just had some numbness. And so at that point in time, you know, I was good. I've lived, you know, I lived a while, you know, in terms of didn't really need much of anything. And then down the line after college and after I got my master's, things started to go a little different, you know, as things started to turn. And at that point in time, I needed, a little later, the use of a home care worker. It killed me. I did not want to do that. I'm extremely independent. I've always lived by myself. I didn't want anyone helping me, but I had to drop the ego and say, hey, you need to get some help. So that became my mission. And that was a long mission that no one should ever have to go through. I was not approved for, that's it wasn't approved. I wasn't eligible for services because I'm not sure if everyone's aware, but the only insurance that provides long-term care service is Medicaid. And I made too much and it's a bit, whatever, make a long story short. I ended up emptying out my 401k because I had to pay someone, which is, you know, I need the care, but I had to pay someone out of my pocket. And then finally, I was able to get into a program, which is called Working People with Disabilities. And then I was able to receive my home care workers. My home care workers are amazing. They are the best. I can't speak about them any higher. I mean, I don't know what I would do without them. They help me get out of the bed. They help me get back in the bed. They help me use the bathroom. They make my food, help me. I mean, everything that I was honestly used to doing myself, they now have to do for me. I still can do things, you know, obviously I'm in a manual wheelchair, but you know, those things that people think or take for granted, shall I say, and not on purpose, just because you never, you know, maybe didn't experience it. Those little things that allow me to work, which I work for the care majority, obviously, full-time, hours upon hours, which is fine. I love working, but the point is without them, I wouldn't be able to do any of the work that I do. And so when I was first involved with, and I've only been there for, goodness gracious, maybe 2 years. But when I first started there, they were introducing fair pay for home care. And, you know, Senate Majority Leader Angie Stewart-Cousins took a liking to it. And she really was liking it and put it in the One House Senate budget. She felt a connection, but that was it. We were shocked that it even got a little bit far because we started off later and but we weren't done. Clearly we were not done. So now it's round 2 and we have not been stopping. So right now, well, let me tell you, fair pay for home care. Fair pay for home care.
Excuse me, Gemma?
Yes.
Gemma, are we supposed to see the video at some point?
Oh my goodness. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Christine. Please, do you guys have the video queued up?
Yeah, I think Ed does. And
I
yeah.
apologize. Yes, show the video. My goodness.
Okay, Ed, you're
Me?
on.
There's no volume right now. Let's start if we can.
Technical stuff, huh? Ed,
Start it with
can you do
volume.
this sound?
I feel angry, you know.
Could you hear the sound with that one clip right there?
Yes,
When I restarted,
did.
great. Just wanted to
Yes.
confirm that. Thank you.
Okay.
Sometimes I feel angry. You know, I worked all my life and now I can't even get help. That bothers me. I've worked since I was 13 years old. I'm 81 now. I can't do what I used to do. You know, I have fell a number of times and hurt myself.
no sound
So
again.
I'm not supposed to be
I have
in a tub without somebody being in there. So I need the aid for that. When I start cooking, I go sit down, and a lot of times I just fall asleep. I never thought I'd be in this condition, but I'm here. And I have a big family, but they all work. They all got their families. They can't help me. All the agencies saying they're short. I supposed to have 5 days. I've had 1 day, I've had 2 days, but no more than that for a long time. Living by yourself, it's lonely. And so just having that face of somebody to talk to and laugh, it makes a difference. A lot of seniors don't have anybody. Most of your home care people are women. And there are also many of them are women with children, you know, and they gotta eat. But these women are working and sweating and lifting. So at least give them a good salary to come in and be able to go through all of that. And if you give somebody a good salary, they'll come to work.
We will not go back to normal. We will not go back to normal.
Home care workers help me so much, and I want to help them by being here today.
And taking out your pots and pans is one thing, but the best way to demonstrate our love and commitment to all that you do is to show you some money and address income inequality and the feminization of poverty with the stroke of a pen.
Today in Union Square, advocates rallied for home care workers, who on average make about $12.50 an hour. In New York, 91% are female, 77% people of color, and 57% of them are on some kind of public assistance. For people like Loretta Copeland, the proposal is a no-brainer.
I want a normal life. I want to be able to enjoy what time I have left.
Thank you, Ed. So Gemma, you're up now again.
Okay, thank you. Oh, that's an amazing video. PSA, how, anyone want to talk? How does that make any of you feel when you see it? What comes to your mind?
I think about my mother because I got a 94-year-old mother, but I have my sister live with her, and my cousin is her daycare, is her caretaker, and she get around very good. But this put a lot of thoughts in your mind when you hear, you know, Loretta talking about how she, you know, get lonely. And I'm sure that they get lonely when they're there by themselves and nobody is there to help them.
Yeah.
So it make you think about a lot of things. It make you think about yourself, what you coming to, you know, you don't know. So it put
That's
a lot
right.
of thoughts in your mind.
Yeah, you're exactly right. You know, as humans, we never really think that far ahead, you know.
Right.
You just never, oh, it's not gonna be me, it's not gonna be me, or you just don't think about it at all. And then something like this, or you find someone, you know, we always say somebody either knows somebody or is that somebody who gives or provides care or needs, you know, care. And, you know, it's just, it's everyone, it's honestly. So yeah, when you see these things, it's like, wow, I hope not, but the truth is 70% of us will all need some type of assistance at some point in our lives.
What's-
70%.
What struck me about that is in terms of people who are working full-time, doing such incredible work, and many are on public assistance because
Yeah.
of the poverty wages.
Yeah.
Yes.
I worked as an aide for 12 years. At the end of 12 years, I was making $13.93 an hour. I
Mm.
worked 7 days a week. I
Oh,
was on call or backup on call 7 days a week. And even then, it was a stretch. And the only reason I stopped is because my daughter got pregnant and her husband started having kids, so I babysit for them now. It was a great job. I absolutely loved it. I still stay in touch with one family. God actually works in strange ways because my last year there, everyone but one particular family, all of my patients had unfortunately passed away, and I didn't have to, I was struggling with leaving them,
Mhm.
knowing how difficult it is to find people to do this kind of work. Because part of my work was doing all the fill-in work, anytime an aide didn't go to work, which is why I work 7 days a week.
yes.
But until they start recognizing what people do in this job, you're gonna have people that are doing it for the wrong reasons. They're
Gemma, I
forced
think
to do this.
there's another hand up, Gemma. Madeline has something to
please.
say.
Yes, I mean, I don't have any practical things, but it is always, sort of mind blowing that in our culture, we don't value the elderly,
Exactly.
Amen. That's right.
There are cultures where the elderly are revered and taken care of, and we just don't do it. And we don't do it on that, on the older people, and we don't really do it for our kids either, for the youngest and the oldest. So I don't know how you change that culture. I don't know how you
I
do
also
that.
watch my father, take care of my father 2 days a week because we're in the same situation. He's 92. I mean, he had 11 children, but all of them, except me and my one sister, work. And I mean, 4 days a week I work watching my grandchildren. So it's always who's going to see him for the day.
Yeah. Anyone else? Okay. Thank you.
I'll speak.
Okay.
I worked as a home care nurse for hospice for about 18 years. And so I got to see firsthand how families struggled to take care of their loved ones at the end of life, and sometimes for years leading up to it. And our system is so inadequate. We do have Medicaid that will cover care, home care, if they have the workers available. But the wages are so low. We really need to fight for 15 an hour at least. These are vital workers, and this is a kind of work that has been revealed because it used to be, when families just were extended families and stayed home, and every person didn't have to have 2 or 3 jobs out of the house. It was more of a, you could stay home, someone could stay home and take care of elderly people perhaps. But now that is really not, that doesn't happen anymore. Families are fragmented. The middle class has been reduced to poverty in a lot of cases. And the care for the elderly is that unseen, invisible work that used to be done for free, or not for free, for room and board, because you live there anyway. Now it's out there in people's faces that people are being, people live alone in apartments and they reach an age where they need care.
Yep.
And so that's where the rubber hits the road. We need to pay people better to do this vital humanitarian work.
Yeah.
And we need single payer health care and a few other things too to help make that happen.
Yes.
Gemma, I bet you, Gemma, you have some suggestions for us, yes? Yes.
Yes. Well, let me tell you just a little bit here about, I'll break it down, and there's three problems right now, that reason why we're in this healthcare crisis. It's our population is growing, and our the obviously COVID and the wages. This is why we're in this healthcare crisis, because especially, how can I say it? When COVID hit, home care workers were, oh, thank you. Oh, we need you. And now, home care workers are not even being recognized again as essential workers. In New York State, so above Westchester and up, home care workers make $13.20, which is the new minimum wage. In the city and Westchester, they make a minimum of $15. Some of them may make more depending upon the situation, but that's the bottom line. So, 15 isn't even enough. It's just not fair. This is a job that people need to take seriously and understand that not everyone can do it. It's a skilled job, and home care workers are not being seen like that. New York State will grow by 1.3% by the year 2040. However, the population of people over 80 will grow by 42.2%. And that number has actually went down from 65 to 80 years old will grow by 42.2%, give or take a percentage or two. And like I said before, 70% of us will need home care, at some point in our lives. That's a huge problem. We are in a serious home care worker shortage. And according to PHI, between 2018 and 2028, there'll be over 800,000 job openings for home care workers. That's insane. This is the fastest growing industry. And meanwhile, the money is the biggest reason why home care workers are not staying in the field. No problem, no, I say ill will almost towards fast food workers who are making $15 an hour now. But you can't tell me that taking care of someone's life, their livelihood, having them live a better life and taking care of their needs and doing everything that home care workers do for them is worth less than a fast food worker. I'm sorry.
Playing basketball.
It's just not, yeah, that too. It's just not fair. And so, when the nursing home crisis came along, which we are all very aware of it, over 25% of all casualties of the coronavirus came from the nursing homes. And this number things have gotten slower, but they literally were growing for the longest time. And that's just, like I said, 25% was when they first found out. So, this is a really big problem. And New York State's currently, anyway, and we're hopefully changed, care infrastructure is completely inadequate in order to care for everyone's needs. This issue is why we have come up and why we are, trying to win fair pay for home care. Fair pay for home care says that we are going to increase the wages of home care workers by 150% of the highest minimum wage. So essentially that equals out to about $22.50 an hour, which is the lowest they should possibly make. Literally, the work that they do for the older adults, elderly, and for people with disabilities like myself is priceless. I wouldn't be here right now talking to everyone if I didn't have my home care workers. That's how dire, that's how serious it really is. Not just for me, but for everybody. And so by doing this, it can be one of the most economic, how do I put it? Like the greatest economic growth in industry, in the healthcare industry, but in any industry possible, because we're going to be putting out, the $22.50, which again, the bare minimum, and then the return on investment is so high. So literally the money is all there. The money is all there from the American Rescue Act Nothing has to be spent, no one has to be taxed more. No one has to do anything else. The money is there. There's no reason why this should not be put into the budget. And it's there for like literally like 2 years, to be honest with you. When doing the math, we had a huge CUNY, the City University of New York did a huge report, and they've done it again. The last results that they found were, like I said, were even better than the first time, saying, hey, there's no reason why this should not be put into this year's 22-23 budget. It's a win-win for everyone, for home care workers, for people who need home care, and for the industry itself. We want people to want to be home care workers. I know my home care workers love what they do, absolutely love it. My one home care worker travels an hour every single day to me, and then an hour back home. My other home care worker travels about a half hour to me and a half hour back. The point is, they love what they do. They don't want to do anything else. And but these wages are insane. I mean, it's really difficult. They're living paycheck to paycheck like everyone else. So we need to make sure Fair Pay for Home Care can get into the budget, because it's full circle. Let's take care of the people who are taking care of our family members. And then so this way they can take care of their family. It's a big circle. If you don't provide the means for them to do so, what is it doing? It's not saying anything. It's saying, go out there, work your butt off, do everything you can do to barely pay your bills, and maybe we'll give you a pat on the back. You know, this call of bonuses, what the government has put out there, bonuses are not going to do anything. Bonuses, it's a Band-Aid, and it's really not even a Band-Aid. It's like a piece of tape that's put on a cut almost. And I have to be blunt with it, because, you know, you only get the bonus when you work full time. Now, not many home care workers have the ability to work full time for the simple fact that they have to work either at different agencies. So therefore they're maybe considered full time at agency number 1, but then couldn't get stuff until agency number 2. So now they're working part time. So then your bonus goes down to anywhere from $1,500 to $1,000. And what is that going to do? What is that? I mean, what is that saying? Like, thank you, but you know, it's always like, it's like a high, you know, a nice high and then a kick in the butt, as I always say, because it's not doing anything. It's a joke. And we really, the people who can make decisions really need to understand that bonuses are just never going to work. So this plan, we are in a great position right now with the Assembly put it in their one house budget, and the Senate put it in the one house budget. Full language, everything we want, the 150%, 22%, everything exactly how we have it written, they put it in. Now it's up to the 3 people in the room, which will come down to Speaker Carl Hastie, Senate Majority Leader Angie Stewart-Cousins, and the governor. And this is where, you know, we need to make sure that we are influencing the legislators like crazy to argue for it, you know, to say, hey, you know, Speaker Hastie, hey, Majority Leader Angie Stewart, we need this. The community needs this. Everyone, for that matter, needs this. It's not, you know, like I said, this is not just a rich person or a poor person or middle. No, this is what we need to make sure that our loved ones and our family and our friends are cared for, and that people take some dignity in the work that they do. Because, I mean, you can't say, you know, oh, I feel good. I mean, honestly, I'm just, you know, oh, I know I do essential work and I do this, but I only get paid $13.20. Like, that doesn't even make sense to even think about, you know, it's not right. But show them some respect, and hopefully this will work out. I'm sorry, Christine?
I have a question. Do you know if it's in the governor's budget? I mean, it's in the Senate, it's in the, do we know about the governor's position?
No, we won't know that until the official executive governor's budget, that's due on April 1st. So we won't know anything until April 1st.
Maud has something. Go ahead, Maud.
I just want to say, it's one of the resolutions that the New York State NAACP branches passed at our first quarterly meeting in January. And we will be lobbying our representatives in Albany, which we do every year. So we will be doing that. And this is one of our resolution that was passed by the New York State NAACP conference. So we will be lobbying in Albany, as we do every year, we lobby.
Thank
The
you.
last 2 years, we haven't been able to go in person, but
Yeah,
we have been meeting with our representative either on Zoom. One of our representatives we met in person. So we will be lobbying on
Thank
this fair pay for home care bill.
Thank you so much. We need that. Is that during caucus weekend, April 10th? Is that April 8th through 10th in Albany? Do you know?
You're talking to me?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes. Is that during?
We usually go this month, but we haven't got a notice from our state president, Hazel Dukes, yet. But we
Yep.
usually go in March.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's on, and I'm just saying, I think it's April 8th through April 10th, because I was invited to a breakfast on April 10th, I believe. So I think that's when it is. That's the weekend. So, which is great, but we have the support of the NAACP.
Yes,
We met with
we do.
Hazel Dukes, and yeah, which is amazing that we got that support. We need support from everybody, but we need support especially from the areas that have such a huge need for care and have and don't have any of these home care workers, Andrew Stewart Cousins area, huge. The Speaker Hasty, huge areas that need people, need home care workers. Meanwhile, one of the reasons is, like I said in the study, the main reason is because they cannot afford to work the job. They can't pay their bills. They can't do anything. And that's a big problem. I mean, like you said before, women notoriously have done this job. And that's a whole other issue. But the point is, do we, this is a problem. This is a big problem. Why aren't women being paid the money that they should be paid to do this work? And, it's just thought of as because they're supposed to. And it really is. It's just, oh, that's what women do. No, it's not. No, it's not. Not at all.
I have a
That's
question.
Yes, please.
Do these companies, do they have enough money to increase the pay for their workers? Or is it they just don't want to go up to $15 or even $20 an hour? Or do they need government to give them the income? Maybe they don't have enough income that is not helping.
Well, without this bill, no, they don't. I mean, the Medicaid cuts were by the former Governor Cuomo. He cut the Medicaid benefits and money by so much. And this was one of the programs. So the amount of money, honestly, that the agencies get is when I say right on path, but it's equal to what it usually is, like how they're supposed to be paid and how the home care worker is. But when you're not paying the agency more money, they can't pay their home care worker more money. So this money that we have from the American Rescue Plan is going to obviously fund both parties. So the agency will make more money and the home care worker will make more money, because otherwise the agencies will go out of business, or the CDPA program, which is the Consumer Directed Patient Assistance Program, where you can select your own person. But that still is through Medicaid funding, but it's going to be the same thing. Everyone, whether you're a CDPA, CDPAP, or like myself, who just goes through the agency, all the home care workers will receive the increase in pay if it is passed, which we are hoping, fingers crossed. Because yes.
Gemma,
Yes.
does Medicaid set the rate? So like an agency can't go higher than what, is that true, that the Medicaid sets the rate?
Medicaid sets the rate, correct. Exactly.
They set the rate what they'll pay, but the agency could pay higher. But
Yep, the agency
I know
could-
only, I only
No,
know
they
from when I
could.
was working.
Yeah,
There's a real disparity between how they pay and reimburse an aide as to how they pay and reimburse the office people. Because I actually did both. I worked in the office when I wasn't in the field, and the aides don't get paid for holidays if they don't work. They have
oh
to
yeah,
use
they
a
don't pay
vacation
for
day.
anything, no
The
benefits.
aides start off way lower than office people. the disparity between they could pay more. And I understand smaller agencies maybe get a little bit bitten by this, but the larger agencies could pay more, because I know some of them do. But
The only
it's not just,
problem, like, where do you live, by the way? Where do you?
I live in the hamlet of Walk Hill, but I went
Okay.
to Dutchess, Ulster, Orange, Sullivan.
Okay.
I went all over.
Oh, no, I was just wondering. I didn't know if you were in the city. I was gonna say, yeah, it's a different ballgame. But the agencies honestly may be able to pay on some cases a little, on certain levels a little more. But on average, they're gonna pay them to make sure that they still see their profit. So it could be that, you know, so depending upon the MLTC, which is the company who sets the hours, who says like my MLTC, they say, okay, Gemma, you have this many hours. And then I go to the agency, and that's, you know, who they get paid from, well, Medicaid, and then the agency. So everything Medicaid, but they're the ones who set it. So depending upon, you know, like I said, what the person's hours have been set for, and perhaps maybe what the situation is at that, it may be possible. But technically speaking, 1320 in every, you know, like I said, up from Westchester, well, not including Westchester, up, and in is 1320 minimum wage, and they have to be paid 1320 now. That's have to be, and same thing in the state, they have to be paid $15. Certain companies, certain agencies in the company do it a little bit differently with like certain benefits, but upstate, like I said, the 1320 region, there are no benefits. You only get paid when you work. You don't have home care benefits, healthcare benefits. You don't have sick time. You don't have vacation. You don't have anything like that. So unless you work, you don't make any money. You don't have holidays, just like someone else was saying. It's horrible. I mean, it's literally despicable, and individuals are not being looked at who are home care workers like the way they should. It's a very sad situation, but it's got to change. And that's why we need fair pay for home care. I mean, there's just no other way. Yes, Christine.
I have no, I'm sorry, I'm dominating.
Don't
but
be
it's-
sorry, don't be sorry.
I'm confused. So here's the deal.
Yeah.
If fair pay for home care passes,
Mhm.
will it still mean that the only people who can get healthcare, home care paid for by the state would be people whose income is low enough that they qualify for Medicaid?
Yes and no. Yes, if that is your scenario. But like for myself, I'm in a program called Working People with Disabilities. So I can make a certain amount of money and still get, and all I get is home care workers. That's all I needed. I don't get Medicaid, you know, insurance or anything like that. I just get the home care workers. So it depends. And you can also have a certain case where maybe you're on unemployment, or, you know, because you recently fired from a job or something along those lines. And then there's still a range that you can do something with that. There's another, it's a much lower range, but that you can be in the program, but otherwise.
But elderly people and people who are not working,
Yes.
that they have to be able to qualify for Medicaid. So it kind of
Yes.
still has people who are somewhat lower middle class are
No
still,
lower. Mm-mm.
they're still in trouble.
Income. Yeah, lower income. Yeah, and that's the other problem. I mean, we can't, you know, that's when I say it's another conversation we would love to have, like the New York Health Act, which would offer home care, long-term care, regardless of any type of situation. But for right now, Medicaid is the only one who offers long-term care. Now, yes, if you have Medicare, you may be offered some services if you are in like a hospital and come out and you need some, you know, some maybe rehabilitation or need some care for a little while. But in terms of long-term care, like I have, or every day my people come here, no, only Medicaid. And luckily I can qualify with the program. But the issue at hand is also, like you were saying, you literally have to like relinquish everything, make no money, and have no assets or anything like that in order to get, you know, long-term care, in order to get Medicaid. That's a problem in itself. But regardless of that, the problem is that these individuals who do qualify for it are not being, you know, they don't have enough aids to even fulfill that number. So if you're familiar with the New York Health Act, which says everyone, regardless of, you know, income or anything like that, would be able to get long-term care. If that was approved tomorrow and put into the budget, you know, all of a sudden, New York Health Act everyone has insurance, no matter what, anything. You don't even have enough home care workers to fill those spots because there's just not enough in the industry. They've literally dropped off because, like I said, again, the number one reason is because they can't afford to not get paid real wages. They can't do it. It's really sad. And like I said, for such an amazing career, for such an amazing, way to spend your time, your job, taking care of people. What other job could possibly be better than taking care of people? That's the way I see it. I mean, yes, of course, there are other things in terms of what you like, but you take care of people. It's like, how could that not be rewarded more than $13.20 an hour?
Do these workers have to have like a college education?
Excuse me, Emma. Ann Sullivan had her hand up. She have a question.
Okay.
Sorry.
Sorry, Emma. Hey, Gemma, thank you so much for sharing your incredible story and all this, the work that you've been doing. So I just had two things. One, I've been looking at a lot of job postings lately, and fast food workers, as you know, fought long and hard just to get it to 15. But I look at places like Legoland that pay $21 an hour, and I just think, really, we're paying Legoland more than home care workers. Yep. And then I had one other comment, which is, I think that even if this passes, we get this passed, and then I have a question. Even if we get this passed, it pushes up the wages of a whole set of workers in the state, and that will help to force up the wages of other workers in the state. And I think it's what we saw with fast food. It's what we saw in the car wash industry. So I'm just so super excited you're doing this fight. And I lost service for a little bit. So either now or after Emma's question, will you talk a little bit again, or just remind us again what we need to be doing tonight after we hang up, or tomorrow after we hang up? Who we need to call, who we need to write, what letters we need to get to the editor, like that kind of stuff. You've done it. I apologize. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you.
Emma?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, I thought you were going to answer her question of who we have to answer.
I was just going to do it afterwards towards the end.
Oh, okay. So my questions were, are there any like prerequisites of getting these jobs, like college degrees or something that will show? Okay.
No, you have to take like a PCA course or an HHA, which would come after that. But no, I mean, the PCA, yes, you have to take that course. But they need workers so much that, they're willing to pay for the PCA. Not everywhere.
Could you define what PPA?
Oh, I'm sorry, PCA. Yeah, a personal care assistant and a home health assistant. Yep, no problem.
Now, may I have a question?
Yes, of course.
So I know that BOCES for high school students, they have programs. So when they're done with their BOCES program, what do they have? What is the
BOCES is no longer.
I can answer some of that.
Okay.
Sorry. Sorry. I worked at BOCES for 26 years. And right now they teach a CNA class, and they do have adult CNA classes. And some, they are going to start probably soon, start teaching home health aid classes as well. A PCA or home health aid, those courses are only a couple of weeks. And for adults, you would have to, after that, have a physical and go through some other kinds of training in regards to what to do in people's homes. One of the things that happens in Ulster County is, aside from the pay, per hour is that you need to have a car. And as these agencies, as I'm sure Sarah knows, in hospice and getting workers to all different areas in the rural settings, it's very difficult because you need car and gas and and the weather is a variable. And as someone else said, lots of times people call out because they can't make it there. So there's a lot of things that happen in home care, especially in the rural settings, because you could be driving into the hills of Shandaken or, you know, I used to be a home health aide, and then I was a trainer, and then I am a nurse, and then I worked at BOCES. And so it's also, I believe that CNAs in nursing homes absolutely don't make enough money and work extremely hard with, you know, could have as many as 10 patients on a shift. And it's really, really tough going. And a lot of times it still is the women who do this work. So home health aides and PCAs, it's very little training, I'd say. And most people need to be dedicated to liking it and going in someone's home. That is not easy either. In a lot of situations, as you know, Gemma, but you know, there's lots of situations rurally here that is challenging, to say the least. So they should be getting paid a lot more. And I would love to hear what we can do about that and who we can write and phone call.
Yeah,
Gemma, Madeline had her hand up.
So I just want to kind of follow up. So out of a high school boat, so somebody said there's no more BOCES.
There's no more BOCES for.
Well, there is a BOCES here.
No, but there's no PCA program. There's CNA, but no PCA.
And a lot of BOCES do home health aid. Not a lot, but many do have home health aid courses.
I'm saying the one in Kingston, that's just the one, the BOCES in Kingston.
It's coming up though, Ulster County, because I happen to know that, but yeah, there aren't many courses for sure.
There used to be a place in Newburgh that did it.
I have a
don't
question.
remember the name of it.
I have another question. All right. I'm not really familiar with it, but maybe you can, like, I had an idea of, are they a union? Are these companies unionized, or are they, like, why can't they unionize? Would that help the problem? Would it cause more problems? I don't know if, like.
That's a great question. I was just at a rally in Albany today with 1199, and 1199 is a huge union, but they're only in the Bronx and parts of Westchester, and maybe some other places like that in the city, but that's it. They're not and they have the numbers. They have 60,000 workers. We don't have that many, like our agency. If all of our agencies came together and said, okay, get a union, but agencies don't always want unions because
they don't want them at all.
So So if there are some, I've heard of this.
Can you explain that? Like why they don't want, because of the power for the people, or?
Yeah, well, honestly, that's exactly right. Because unions represent the workers, not the agencies. So they're always a little nervous, like, the union could demand that we do this, the union could demand that we do that. And then we're going to get people in an uproar, and then, maybe we'll have a problem. So they're very fearful of unions, very. And so over upstate, from here on up Westchester and up 40, I think it's 55 or 56 counties. They all have, home care workers and home care worker agencies, but the numbers aren't there. So if you have an agency, and now since they're really falling apart, but if you have an agency that has 30 workers or whatnot, I'm just saying, unions don't want that. They want hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, thousands. That's what they want. And even if you, I'm going to give you an example, like a Head Start. You may be in a Head Start as a worker and a teacher or a teacher's aide or whatnot, and you say, oh, this is a small Head Start. But Head Start, all of them were under the same union, the whole entire country. So that's a number, that's serious. So, you know, they want serious numbers. I mean, it just so happens that New York City, okay, they have 60,000, you know, like I said today, it was 60,000, 1199 workers. That's a huge number. I mean, that's like insane. Which, I mean, great, you know, so that's why they have the option. So home care workers have that option for 1199 to be involved with them.
Gemma, I just want to say there are 3 questions up. There's Liz, then Ed,
Okay.
then Maud. And I also want to say my late mother's aides were unionized in New York City, but they were still guided by the same Medicare pay. So even though they were unionized, they did not get more pay.
Yeah,
Liz,
oh no,
you're-
definitely not. Yeah.
You're up, Liz, then Ed, then Maud.
Okay, I wanted to know if the PCAs and home health days need to be certified and licensed
Yes, they need
in
to be
order to
certified.
work. That's
Yes.
that's one question. The other one is, do the agencies require this certification? And-
Yes, the
Okay.
agencies do. And the only ones who do not have to be certified are the CDPAP, the Consumer Directed Patient Assistance Program individuals, because that's the program where you can select anyone you want, except husband and wife are not able to, you know, a married couple, period. Woman, man, husband, wife, doesn't make a difference. They can't be their own, have the other as a caretaker. But your son and mom, whatever it may be, they don't have to be, you know, certified. No, but technically, would it be in your best interest? Yes, it would, depending upon, but no, they do not, because they can do a lot more, which is kind of interesting, but they can do a lot more medical things because it's your decision for what you want them to do than any PCA or HHA can do, because they can only do a certain level of duties. And to say before, really quick, no, you're not paid more when you're with a union, but the difference is that your unions may fight for you. And even though Medicaid sets the rates, but like 1199 is behind fair pay for home care. And so they're fighting really hard. So we're lucky to have them in our corner, trust me. But yeah, no, a union is not gonna do but a union could negotiate benefits, could negotiate sick time.
That I have to say, that wasn't an anti-union thing. It was the fact
Oh,
that as
no.
good as unions are, Medicaid, we still have to get the governor to
Of
get.
course. Yeah, no, I'm not anti-union at all. Yeah, no, not at all. I was just saying, yeah, no, unions are not gonna make you get paid more, no, but they will negotiate things and they will do their best to protect their, you know, their clients, you know, which are the workers, but that's, you know, so, but no, I'm not anti-union either. So.
No, I said I'm not anti-union. Ed, go
No, I
ahead.
didn't either.
Yes, I'm not surprised that 1199 is deeply involved in this. I mean, there have been in my earliest years in the labor movement, I was involved in organizing home health workers in Pennsylvania. There have been
Okay.
struggles, major struggles all over the country and in California in particular. I mean, and some major victories. And it's just incredible that the agencies themselves and in the face of those efforts, I mean, I remember there being comments that were the agencies themselves in the face of the pressure for union organizing, talking about home health workers as if they're just like housekeepers. And it's just disgraceful. I mean, I've got to know some of these people. It's not the kind of work that I've ever done, but they're not, obviously they're not in it for the money. I mean, these are incredibly dedicated, selfless, like they're building relationships with these people.
Yeah.
They're playing such the role that they play in their lives. It's one of, unfortunately, so many things we have to let ourselves be angry about this. I mean, that people doing that work are being paid so little, and it's part of a sort of structure within healthcare in general that we need to push everyone up, because
I agree.
if home health workers make more, then that there's the next tier above them, and they need to make more too. And it's just the direction things have gone with the whole healthcare system being so profit driven. It's
disgusting.
And so I just have a very simple question. I'm a delegate and department representative in my own union, and I mean, I think we could easily like help get the word out to have more people sign that petition and make calls. What are the immediate sort of calls to action pushing
The
toward?
immediate
April.
calls to action are calling your legislator, your assemblywoman or your assembly member, or your senator, whoever they may be. Like I said, I'm not sure necessarily who yours are. And calling, I put in the chat, calling Carl Hasty and calling Andrew Stewart Cousins and calling the governor. I'm trying to see if that was in there as well. I don't know. Let me see. Let me see.
I see it in the chat.
Was the governor's number in there? I'm so making sure. I may have been just Carl Hasty.
Yes,
Yeah, her number's in there.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Yeah, and like I said, today's rally was amazing. I mean, Carl Hasty was there and Andrew Stewart Cousins was there. And, we thank them obviously dearly because we were very nervous about the assembly. And to be honest with you, the assembly came out, with their budget first, which was a beautiful thing, which they usually do anyway. But we were really nervous because they hadn't put it in last year's, budget, and they just needed some more education about what the bill entailed. And, Carl Hasty said, like, this is near and dear to my heart. His family is involved in home care workers. And, it's really something, like I said, that everybody's family has experience with, whether you know it or not, either providing care, giving care, or needing care. And so no one is above any type of, okay, because you're this, no, whether you're wealthy or whether you're not so wealthy, everyone has a relationship to care and needs it. It's just the way it is. So this is an amazing, Fair Pay for Home Care is an amazing, it's been our campaign. It's an amazing act that we are really, truly hoping that, we're gonna get it passed into the executive budget that the governor says, yes, because we really need that. We've been going to Albany like every week and just literally just going there and speaking with the legislators and taking pictures and getting their care stories. On our website, you could see that the nycaremajority.org. You'll see, pictures and, our Twitter feed as well, from today and from the other day. I mean, we've just been really getting a lot of legislators involved, and it's been a great feeling. And we really hope that they're going to do the push, because that's what's going to come down to, them pushing their leader to say, hey, Governor Hochul, put this in the budget. And that's what we've been doing.
I think Maud had something. Maud, did you want to say something? You're on mute. You're on mute, Maud.
My question is about the union. Now, we all know that the union come by in any company by the employees coming together and organizing, not the company. The company don't do that. It's the employees that comes together and organize the union. But I did not know 1099 was not up here. I know it's a big union. I mean, 1199. I know it's a big union, but I didn't know it wasn't represented upstate, just only in New York City.
Yes,
now,
and parts of Westchester.
A SEIU union that represent Usher Green.
SEIU 1199, that's usually what they're.
Is they 1199 too?
Yes.
SEIU?
SEIU 1199.
Thing?
Yeah.
Well, they do represent the workers that work in the houses for Usher Green.
Ulster Academy Green. For Ulster Green,
it's like different houses in the area that they got people that live in these houses and workers go in there to work.
Okay.
They are in that union. They in the SEIU. And that's 1199 too.
It's to my knowledge, it's always a SEIU 1199. That's how it's always
phrased. Well, they do represent those houses up here.
But where are those houses in Ulster County?
Well, they Ellenville all over. They got two in Ellenville, one on Maple Avenue, one on Market Street. They got them out in Cohasset, Airport, Milltown, all over. And this is the union that they are in.
You mean the group homes? The group homes
with the challenges, they live there. They don't go.
They may not be from the area though. That's also, you know what I mean? They may not be they may have come from that, which
different
I hear all the
places.
time.
Yes, they do.
So,
They come from different places.
Yeah, the workers, so they may have not been from you know, Ulster
Oh, the
County or,
workers, no, the workers come from the area. Workers come from the area. Cause I
Hmm.
worked in one of the houses part-time after I
Huh.
retired over on Market, not Market, on a Maple Avenue,
okay.
next to the
Well,
school. But it's the employee lives up here. Yes,
You know
Ed.
just exactly what Gemma described before, like their density up here is so thin that they can't build the kind of power they have in New York with the League of Voluntary Hospitals, and it's really just such a massive, they have tremendous power in New York, of not as much as we'd like, but compared to up here where 1199 does represent workers at Vassar Brothers Hospital in Poughkeepsie and in other smaller facilities
Yeah.
scattered around, but
Right.
they don't have the density that kind of,
for home
they
care
can't
either.
they can't really do what they do in New York City up around here yet.
Home care, yeah, for home care agencies, correct, correct.
Okay. Okay. That's it.
Do you have, and Gemma, do you have, did I say right? Gemma?
I just
That's okay,
wanted
that's
to say that Ann and Madeline had their hands up, Emma.
Oh,
Okay.
well, I just want to know if you have a social media platform that you could share with us.
In terms of, and New York County Majority,
Yeah.
You want the
Yeah.
website? I could while you're answering questions, I can
okay, thank you.
put the Facebook and I'll look it up.
Thank you. At the
Okay,
NY
thank
County
you.
Majority. Go ahead. Did you, oh. you got it.
And did
Okay,
you
got
want
it.
to go ahead?
Anyone else?
Yeah,
Yes.
and Gemma, am I
Yes.
right? I mean, this battle, I mean, it may go on longer in different forms, right? But basically, we've got a little less than 3 weeks until the budget is supposed to be
Yes,
passed.
you
Is
are
that a
100% right.
timeline? Like,
Yes.
right
April 1st, yeah.
now, right?
Yep, that's why we've been going to Albany, you know, next week, we're going to be there every single day, but Friday, and the following week we'll be there every day, well, up until the 28th, 29th, and probably 30th, maybe even 31st, just doing what we've been doing, and we have a little more up our sleeve, but essentially, you know, we want to just like crazy, and, you know, we heard from some of the legislators today, because I had to do part of the 1199, I guess you'd say, press release, that they want this. And they said, you know, bug us, like come, you know, put the pressure on. This is what we need to do. We need to have, you know, the pressure, because we need to make sure they know that this is from everybody in the legislature. You know, we want, and the guy, I believe it was Senator Taylor said, bother the ones who don't want it. Let them know how important it is. Let them know, because it's true. Everyone has to understand how critical this is. And it really is critical. We're in a huge healthcare crisis, and it's not going to get any better. It's really not, you know. Hopefully the pandemic is on its way out of, you know, but you know what? You never know what could happen. And I'm not, no, knock on wood, what could happen in a year. You just don't know. And without home care workers, we're really going to be in a bad predicament. You really are. And we need to show them the respect and that they're essential.
Madeline has her hand up. Madeline?
Yeah, I just have a question. So I know as part of teachers union for many years, you're not part of the union unless you're full-time.
Yeah.
So is that the same for 1199?
That I do not know. That's a great question. I do not know
Because
that.
that's like a catch-22 with these agencies and lots of things. They give you 30 hours a week, or it's part-time. So even if there were a union, you couldn't belong to it and be protected.
Yeah, that's a great question. I always thought, yes, that there were a certain amount of hours from other unions that indirectly, you know, that you had to eat with. I worked at Head Start for a long time, and that you had to work a certain amount of hours in order to be able to qualify to be part of the union. If, you know, so I do not know the answer to that, but I'm sure you probably are right that you have to work a certain amount of hours in order to be part of the union.
So
And
that's
that's
a
also,
problem.
like you said, a catch-22 as well. You're exactly right. You're exactly right, you know. So, you know, and now, I mean, just from, I'm like someone else was saying, like the hours, the distance, the cars, I mean, driving, all that stuff, you know, that's a big problem in the rural areas. And I mean, it is, you know, I'm lucky that my home care workers have vehicles, but I've had some people who didn't, And, they lived, walking distance or whatnot, maybe a mile away. But as reliable as you would think that is, it wasn't, them be like walking that day, it was too cold outside. Then you don't need to be a healthcare worker, because guess what? If you're cold outside, I still have to get out the bed and work, or I still have to get in the shower. I can't, but that is a problem. I mean, perhaps if, I'm not saying cars, but like in the rural areas, maybe if they were reimbursed for the individual with cars, reimbursed with some mileage or something, things like that, that's a huge thing. But what we said at the Caring Majority, because when I first started there, I said, well, aren't we going to do benefits, or aren't we going to do that? And it was like, no, we're going with pay first. That's what we have to get down. Got to get the pay increase, and then we can work on the benefits. And I said, perfect. They said, because if you throw, and now from doing this, I understand, you throw 5 things at the legislatures, and in one sitting, they're gonna just completely block it out. So we focus on the income, and next we're gonna focus on benefits. That's our plan. So that's something that's gonna be super important, because everyone needs a break. Everyone gets sick. Everyone, everybody needs, to be covered if they can't come to work, things like that, everyone needs health insurance. For God's sake, everyone needs health insurance, so we really want to get that down, but we really want to get the pay up so we can build the industry up, because that's what it's going to do. It's going to make it again, but like it was before, seen as an essential job, paid, with the respect for the work that home care workers do. And they need to be paid that. There's just no 2 ways around it. It's not fair that they can't make the money that they deserve. It just should never be like that.
I also want to identify the elephant in the room that I don't think here skirts around, but people often skirt around, of the fact that it's also underpaid because it's primarily women, primarily people of color, immigrants, and and in some ways the fact that it's affecting old people is probably good, because when old people who may have money or may be privileged in other ways all of a sudden go, oh my God, what am I going to do?
Yeah,
that's when people will act. And it's really unfortunate that we have to somehow address the whole issue of that. When it's about women, when it's about people of color, when it's about immigrants, it's undervalued, and we need to do something about that.
That's been a main focus of ours as well. You're exactly right.
Yeah, Maud has her hand up.
Yeah, I think, I don't know who was that put it in the chat, ARC. That's what I was talking about, ARC. Around the area, it's ARC that the people, they got houses all around Ulster County. In Ellenville, ARC. I couldn't think of the name until I saw.
That's okay. That's different though, but that's different. And I'm gonna tell you why that's different. Thank you for bringing that up. ARC are individuals with developmental disabilities. So they're through OPWDD. Those individuals aren't covered as home care workers because they're called direct support professionals. So professionals, DSPs. So that's a different, not that we wouldn't want to include them, trust me, because they need to be, but it's always been a difference between what a DSP is and because of the OPWDD, and that's strictly because Medicaid pays OPWDD workers, honestly, way better than home care workers.
Yeah, and they ARC get pretty good salary.
I mean, better, like I said, I don't know the exact, but I do know they get paid more. Yeah.
Yes, they do.
Which is fine. Like, I mean, they deserve every penny, but that's the difference with the OPWDD is a different program under Medicaid.
Right.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, Gemma, this has been really great. I don't know if you're seeing comments there, but some people are leaving, but in fact, they've said this is really enlightening, and I want to thank you. And I don't know if there are any other questions or any last things you want to say before I turn it back to Maud, but I want to thank you and just say that it's been really a great presentation. Is there anything else? Madeline has her hand up.
Well, I'm just saying, we know locally Martucci, Senator Martucci, we need to be contacting Brian Miller. We need to be contacting, so those are the people that we need to.
Senator Martucci, and I'm just asking, please bear with me, is he a Republican or Democrat?
Yes, he is.
He's a Republican.
Okay, he's a Republican, and he did sign on. He definitely did.
Yes,
beautiful.
he did.
But
he supports
But
the
the
carrying
only,
majority.
no, he's amazing. He's great. The only
Yeah.
problem is that it's a Democratic bill. So when it comes down to it, he can't have any, he doesn't have any influence on the, with like Assembly Member Carl Hasty or Andy Stewart Cousins. That's the only problem. But that's the other thing. This has bipartisan support. This,
Right.
like I said before, this is not a black and white issue. And I'm saying not necessarily even black and white, just it is
Right.
all across the board. Democrat, Republican, doesn't make a difference, whatever party you are, everyone needs fair, fair pay for home care. Everyone's gonna need care. And that's what is also so beautiful about it, that this bill has came up and it's like everyone wants it. And it really needs to get put into the budget. So no, I'm not, Senator Martucci has been amazing. I've been on many Zoom lobby visits and meetings with him. He's incredible. Unfortunately, he can't like lobby like that with it because he's Republican and it's a Democratic bill, so.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a lot of old people in the government that probably will need these.
And we have brought that up and wanted to say it so much, but we can't. But literally, we want to say you're probably going to need some care too. But and not even because of age, but I'm just saying, yeah, no, I agree with you. But everyone, then you may be 100 and not need care. Everybody's different, but I think people need to really think about every aspect, their family, their children, everything, because no one's exempt from needing care. That's the bottom line. No one.
Gemma, I'm butting in because there has been a hand raised, Mary E, for a long time. Mary E, do you want to say something?
I'm sorry, Mary.
Yeah, hi there. Thanks. Great presentation.
Thank you.
I've been bugging folks in the chat, but I'm hoping that a summary with the action agenda will be available afterwards. And like sent the email to the people who responded by signing up for the Zoom.
Excuse me. I can get something together, not a problem. I can definitely, Christine, can I send that to you?
You can send it to me and I'll pass it along to our secretary.
Yep, I will definitely.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for, yes, perfect. Yeah, call the governor, call your legislator, sign that petition. We really need the support and we really want everyone in the government to know how crucial and critical this is. So I really thank you for being here. I thank you for listening. This is a really important and big thing. And we need to change this world to a caring economy and a caring world. And this is the first step. So
thank you, Gemma. And I'm going to turn it back to you, Maud, to conclude us. But thank you, Gemma. This has been great.
Okay, we thank you, Gemma, for that beautiful presentation.
You're so welcome.
So we got so much information, things that we did not know. So thank you. We thank the Civic Engagement Committee and the Health Committee for coming together and bringing you to us tonight. It was really a great meeting. And
I really appreciate you letting me be here and spreading this amazing, amazing word.
And Madeline, you mentioned I was New York State Senate now, but after the election, he won't be representing our district. It would be Michelle Hinchey who will be
Michelle
representing.
Hinchey is a huge, one of our care champions.
He would not, after the election, he would not be
Yeah,
our
I
representative.
forgot about, yeah, that's true.
Yep, it did a lot of changes. That's right. Yeah, but Michelle Hinchey is a huge supporter. She's been on, she's been with us since day one. So she's amazing.
Yes. So I just have some announcement. If nobody else have any more questions, I just have some announcement before we adjourn.
Thank you, everyone.
Is there any more announcement?
Thank you, Gemma.
You're welcome. I'm so sorry. I just have to eat something. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You're welcome. Anytime,
Okay.
please.
Our announcement is that on March the 26th, we will be having our International Women's Day, which will be held at the Shadowland Studio in Ellenville on Center Street and Market. And we will be honoring 3 women in our community that have served the community and have served the community. Our next public meeting will be held on the third Tuesday, April the 19th at 6 o'clock. No, 6:30, starting at 6:30. No, wait, let me get to what I gotta say. 6:30, our Criminal Justice Committee will be sponsoring the program. I had talked to Ed, our membership meeting is going to begin at 6 o'clock. We have to have our membership meeting and public meeting in the same day. So the membership meeting will begin at 6 o'clock. And that will only be for members, because our chairperson have to present to our membership, have to let the membership know what's going on with our branch. And that's what we do in our executive committee meeting. And then the chairperson and the president and the officers have to present to the membership. So starting April, our membership meeting will begin at 6 o'clock, and it shouldn't go over an hour. And after the membership meeting, we will present our public meeting, which will be the subject, it will be on criminal justice. And I'm working on getting somebody to speak. I don't know what topic he will be speaking on, but it will be advertised. It will be given to Ed as soon as I get the person to commit that he will be our speaker on April the 19th. And our health fair will be held on April the 22nd. And our health committee, Sarah Underhill and Harriet is our healthcare committee. So they will be present on April the 22nd. What time will it be, Harriet? Do you all know that you come up with a time? In the afternoon, or like you did before last year? It was at
yeah, I don't know. I was
Oh,
very
you don't know.
confused. I thought we were gonna be presenting at the public meeting that week. And then Ed and Sarah told me that, no, it's gonna be on Friday. So, I think it should be in the evening so that people are home from work.
Well, that's when you presented before. You presented on a Friday last year.
Okay,
And the criminal justice presented on the third Tuesday.
okay,
The 6 game changes, always give them, everyone a month to present.
okay. Well, good. So we'll say, I think we'll say 6 o'clock on Friday. Ed, are you available at 6? I know you said you weren't available during the day.
Yes, and I will be available in the evening. And last year we pre-recorded it and then
Right.
published it essentially on that
Yeah.
day. But if we want to have people participate, then we could do it that evening.
Yeah, so I just sent out an email to the 2 nurses who are going to be presenting, and I thought we had to pre-record it, but I know one of them would like to do it live. So that would be great, and then we can have questions and answers. Okay, so let's say 6 o'clock, Friday the 21st, right?
So you
22nd?
and, okay, Sarah.
Okay, thank you.
Sarah, you have to unmute. Okay.
Friday the 22nd.
Friday
Yeah,
the
Friday the
22nd.
22nd. And the time for the, on March 26th, the Women's International Day, the time of that is noon, Maud, did you say?
At 12 o'clock. Yeah, it started at
At the
12.
Shadowland?
At the Shadowland
Okay,
studio
good to know.
on the corner of Center and Market Street.
Oh, okay, not the theater, the studio. Yeah. Okay. Great.
So the flyer will be going to Ed soon if he didn't get the information already. But okay, are there any other announcement that should be made? One thing we have to start doing, it getting warm now, we have to start doing our voter registration table set up. We have to start promoting voter registration. And yeah, we have to start doing that. Not only in Ellenville, maybe Christine, you can get a spot up there that we can come and set up a table. for when it get warmer for voter registration.
You mean to bring him to Ellenville for voter registration? We can work that out.
Oh,
You saying you want Juan up there? Is that
no,
what
no,
you said?
no. I'm saying that the Civic Engagement Committee should be working on having voter registration, you know, in different
Right.
different
Oh,
spots.
so like I can look at Saugerty's area, this area. Yeah, okay,
Let's see
great.
what we could do with voter registration. up
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Christine, go back, Christine, for what you misunderstood. Could Juan would come here for what? Maybe that would be a good idea.
But we can arrange to have one. We actually thought at some point that maybe
Okay.
Juan would come with, and you know, and actually we saw, by the way, I put Madeline and Maud as listed as influencers, and we were hoping that he could like come with you and meet people, the two of you. So
Just like we did before, Madeline. You remember we
Okay.
had it there in
At
that
the
park,
church?
Well,
At the-
then we went up and stood on the corner and campaign.
Yeah, and didn't we have a rally? Was that him we had a rally for at the Episcopal Church or something? No, that was Antonio Delgado.
No,
Oh,
that was Antonio.
And Juan stopped by. Juan stopped by that
Oh,
thing
okay.
there. But,
oh no, Antonio's not going to be in the Ellenville.
He's not gonna be
that's
able.
But you know, you might be able to get Juan and Sean Maloney maybe. So yeah.
But I'm just saying, before June,
We
it
need
would-
to do a
it would be
rally.
Good idea to
Okay.
have them come.
Right, because people need to know, and and as a committee person, when I go to knock on door for them to sign the petition, I've been giving them Juan's information and Michelle information. I'm the only two that I got.
And just reminding them that it's switched, that we don't have
Right.
Antonio.
I-
Because
they
a lot
got-
of
we
people
got a
don't even,
sheet on there. We
a lot
got a
of people
sheet.
don't even know that. They don't know
Yeah,
that.
but we got a sheet that we hand with them, with their information, telling them about the districts, you know, been switched, been redistricted. Yeah.
But Christine, we'll figure that out when we can
Yes.
do that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And Maud, just
yes,
back to criminal justice. I spoke to somebody today about which criminal justice laws are most likely to pass. And it's four. It's clean slate, elder parole, fair and
Yeah.
timely parole, and the I
elder
can't remember what it-
parole, and what else you said?
elder parole, fair and timely parole, clean slate, and then the other one, which I can't remember what it's called, but it basically says that police officers have to be can be held responsible for their actions.
Well,
Maybe-
the person, yeah, the person that I'm thinking about, Odell Winfield, I'm
Yeah.
sure that he knows all of that, because
Right.
he's a criminal justice person.
Right, right. And so, yeah, so let's just follow up offline.
Okay, okay, we will. Okay. Okay, if there anything else to come before us tonight, if not, we're gonna adjourn and see you all again on the 19th. Not before, we'll probably be having committee meetings.
And,
Yeah.
could you quickly type those things in the chat, please?
Yes,
Three of them I know were in the minutes from the last meeting, but I think one of them was not, so.
yeah, yeah, clean slate.
Mm-hmm.
And Madeline, somebody's putting that in an email to me.
Okay.
Maybe tonight or tomorrow, so I will forward that email
Okay,
as
all
well,
right.
but I'll put the three clean slate, elder parole.
And you said fair, timely parole.
Fair and timely parole, yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Ed.
Thank you.
Ed, for your service. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Ed.
Good night. Have a good.
Good night.
So
Thanks,
our meeting is adjourned at 7:29 p.m. We did good. We did good.
Thank you. Good night.
An hour and a half, right? Yes. No.
Well, we
Yeah.
started at
We
6:44.
started at 6. So it was an hour and a half.
6:15 we started, 6:14.